Good day and welcome to Mathematics 4. For today, we will be discussing all about the greatest common factor or what we call the GCF. Before starting with the ways on how to get the GCF, let me show you first the question that you should be able to answer at the end of this video. How can you find the greatest common factor of two whole numbers? Keep that in mind as we will be able to uncover this question at the end. So before we formally start with the GCF lesson, I want you to take note of this important term, common factor. This is a number that is a factor of two or more numbers. Example, we have 16 and 20. Listed down are the factors of 16. We have 1, 2, 4, and 16. While the factors of 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. All we need to do here now is to find what are the common factors between 16 and 20. The answer is this set of 2's and set of 4's. So the answer is 2 and 4. How is this related now in getting the GCF? When we say GCF, this is actually a common factor as well. It's part of the list that was answered on the previous slide. But this time, we have to spot between those two factors or common factors that we got, which among the two is the greatest or the bigger number. Sometimes there are more than 3 common factors between a number. But then, again, when you say GCF, all you need to do is just to get the biggest among the list of the common factors. So in this case, if we have 2 and 4 as our common factor, we have 4 as the bigger number. Therefore, that would be our GCF. To have this applied in a word problem setting, let's go ahead and look at this problem about Jim. Jim is cutting 2 strips of wood to make picture frames. The wood strips measure 12 inches and 18 inches. He wants to cut the strips into equal lengths that are as long as possible. Into what lengths should he cut the wood? The first thing that we have to know is we have to know all about the factors of both 12 and 18 so that we can decide how long can each of the pieces of the wood be cut as long as possible. So for 12, we have to write all the factors of 12. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. While for 18, we have 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. Spotting now the common factors and deciding which among the common factors is the biggest, we can see that the biggest common factor between 12 and 18 is 6. Now, to answer the problem, we can say that each piece of wood can be cut at most 6 inches long. Okay? Now, these now are the ways on how to get the GCF or the greatest common factor. The first one is listing method. That is the same way as how we used it on the previous slides. All you need to do is to list all the factors of the given numbers, identify all the common factors, and spot the biggest among the common factors. And there you have your GCF. Let's go ahead and try some other ways on how to get the GCF. The second available method is the prime factorization. For those who doesn't know what prime factorization means, this is actually the number written as the product of all of its prime factors. Just a recap, based from your first term lessons, that prime numbers are actually numbers that only has two possible factors, only one and the number itself. Under prime factorizations, there are two ways on how to get the prime factorization as well as the GCF of a number. So one is factor 3, the other one is ladder diagram. For example, the number 18. Whichever method we will use, the factor 3 or ladder diagram, we will come up with the prime factorization of the number. In this case, if we will write the number 18 as the prime factorization of it, we will have 2 times 3 times another 3. Let me go ahead and show you how does factor 3 and ladder diagram look like. So for factor 3, you have to choose any two factors whose product is the given number. Continue finding factors until only prime factors are left. Then to get the GCF, simply multiply all the pairs of the common prime factors of the given number. So for this example, we have 18 and 27. We have 18 and 27. I have to choose two factors whose product will be 18. So I can have 2 times 9. While 9, I can still think of two factors that can be multiplied to get this number. So that will be 3 times 3 is equal to 9. Let's go on now with 27. So I'll try with 3. 3 times 9 is 27. And then 3 times another 3 will give me 9. Looking at the numbers now, all of the numbers at the end of the lines are all prime numbers. So I can write down the prime factorization of 18 as 2 times 3 times another 3. While for 27, I can have 3 times 3 times another 3. Spotting the common factors, I have this set of 3's over here and this set of 3's. So 3 and 3. Getting the GCF, simply multiply those two sets of 3. So 3 times 3 will give you 9. So the GCF between 18 and 27 is 9. Example number 2. We have 24 and 40. Think of two factors of 24. I'll try to have 6 times 4. 6 can be represented as well as 2 times 3 and 4 as 2 times 2. All the numbers now at the end of the line are prime numbers, so I won't touch them. I'll go on now with 40. So 4 times 10 is 40. 10 is the same as 2 times 5. Then 4 as 2 times 2. Listing down the prime factors of 24, that will be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. While for 40, I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Encircle the common prime factors, pair them up, and multiply those sets of 2's or the sets of common factors that we have. Multiplying it, 2 times 2 will give us 4. 4 times 2 will give us 8. So the GCF of 24 and 40 is 8. That is how we use the factor 3. Now, let's go ahead and try the other method, the one that we call the ladder diagram. In this way on getting the GCF, all we need to do is just to choose a common factor of the two given numbers. Continue dividing the prime factors until no common factor can further divide all the given numbers. To get the GCF, simply multiply all the common prime factors. In this example, you can see that the ladder diagram shows a staircase-like of solution. Let's try and apply it on some examples. So first, we have 18 and 42. We have to find the GCF using the ladder diagram. So I'll start ahead and draw the first step of the ladder. Find even the smallest common factor that you can think of. So the smallest prime that I can have for both of them is 2. 18 divided by 2 will give me 9. 42 divided by 2 will give me 21. Forming the next step of the ladder, I will have 9 and 21, and their common factor is 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 21 divided by 3 will give me 7. Since 3 and 7 doesn't have any common factors left, I will stop the solution there and get all the numbers at the side. By multiplying all the numbers at the side, we can get the GCF. So the common prime factors are 2 and 3. Multiplying 2 times 3, the GCF is 6. Another example. Let's try it with 32 and 28. I will try again to use 2 since anyway both of them are even numbers. Take note, you can also use other prime numbers such as 3, 5, 7, and the other prime numbers that you can think of, for as long as that particular number that you will choose can be used to divide the two given numbers. So in this case, I'll use 2 because that's the easiest for me. I will try to divide 32 divided by 2, which will give me 16. 28 divided by 2 will give me 14. Thinking of another common factor, if there is, then draw another step of the ladder. Then write the common factor that you can think outside. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 14 divided by 2 is 7. No more common factors, so I will stop there. And then writing down the common factors, 2 and another 2. To multiply and have the final answer, the GCF is 4. Another practice is 64 and 72 for our given numbers. Using the ladder diagram, I'll try to have, since it's both even numbers, we can have 2 again. So 64 divided by 2 will give me 32. 72 divided by 2 will give me 36. Then continue dividing for as long as you can find a number to divide them. So another 2 will work. 32 divided by 2 is 16. 36 divided by 2 is 18. Surprisingly, we can still divide. So go ahead and write another step of the ladder. Then 16 divided by 2 as their common factor is 8. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 8 and 9 now doesn't have any common factor. So get the product of all the numbers at the side. So we have 2 times 2 is 4. Times another 2 will give you the GCF of 8. So this is now our answer. Another one. We have 42 and 63. Using the ladder diagram again, we have, since this one is odd, this one is even, let's try if 3 will work. So we have 42 divided by 3. That will give us 14, right? And then 63 divided by 3 will give us 21. Continue dividing it. Is there any common factor left? Yes, there is. So we have 7. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 21 divided by 7 is 3. Multiplying these two sets of numbers outside the ladder diagram, we will have 3 times 7 is 21. So the GCF now is 21. I hope everything is clear. Let's try to apply it now in a word problem setting. There are 24 6th graders and 40 7th graders. Mr. Chan wants to divide both grades into groups of equal size with the greatest possible number of students in each group. How many students should be in each group? Let's check. So we have 24 and 40. Getting the GCF, so we have 2. This one will be 12. And then this one will be 20. Continue dividing. I'll try to have 4 this time. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So 2 times 4 here, the GCF is 8. The GCF is the number of groups that we can have with regards to the 24 6th graders and 40 7th graders. But then the question here, what is the greatest possible number of students in each group? It's just so happened that this one is the number of the 6th graders in a group, and this is the number of the 7th graders in the group. So the answer as well to the question is there must be 8 students for every group. Okay, so 8 students in a group. Let's try another problem. There are 15 boys and 10 girls in Miss Lee's class. She wants to group all the students so that each group has the same number of boys and the same number of girls. What is the greatest number of groups can she have? So we have 15 and 10. We have a common number 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So our GCF is 5. The greatest number of groups that she can have is also 5. Now, if you will be asked how many boys and how many girls will be there in each of the group, the answer is here at the bottom part. I hope you've learned something today. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the day.